Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Swank Way. It's good to have you back. Our topic for today is urban sustainability in a matchbox house.
Yeah, so today we have Crisenta with us. She is a visionary content writer और मेरी बहुत अच्छी दोस्त है. And I'm happy, really happy that you are here today. And if you can see, like this is more of greenery what we are seeing around us today in our episode. And I would like Crisenta to talk about what does exactly mean Matchbox House and how she's managing her approach towards sustainability.
Thanks for having me here, Tushar. Hi, Aman. When we talk about sustainability in a matchbox home, ideally, what are we talking about? Like for people in Mumbai, I think it is very relatable, and people in Mumbai don't consider this a matchbox home because they are like, there are people who live in 100, 200 square feet also. But when I talk about a matchbox home, I'm talking about a small 400 square feet, 500 square feet, 600 square feet home, right? So if you were coming from a city like Bangalore or even another town, you couldn't fathom living in a space that small and having your own plants and garden and things like that. Jabki, for people in Mumbai, it's very normal. But still, people in Mumbai would not say, चलो gardening करते हैं. क्योंकि they would say, यार घर में लोगों को रहने के लिए जगह नहीं है, तो फिर gardening कैसे करें? So that's the whole concept.
Well, welcome to Mumbai. That's a very familiar thing. मुझे ये चीज़ें देखकर ही आई एम सो इंट्रीग्ड बाय ऑल ऑफ दिस. आपकी जर्नी के बारे में क्या बता सकते हैं? आपने कहाँ से स्टार्ट किया सस्टेनेबल लिविंग इन अ कॉन्डो लाइक यू सेड?
So, thanks for asking that. So, just to clarify, I don't live in a condo. I live in a 2 BHK, but for someone from Bangalore or another town, it would definitely seem like a condo because it's so tiny. Okay? So, that's how it is. So, if I were to also talk about my immediate journey, so one morning, it just happened that I walked into the kitchen. I was chopping maybe tomato. I said, okay, there is a seed in it. There are seeds in it. I should go and put it in the pot. So that's how it actually began. I just went crazy with every vegetable. I would see brinjal. I'm like, iske andar seed hai. To a point that I have a cook and she's just started going crazy. Every time my brief to her would be, कुछ भी काटने के पहले उसका seed निकाल के मुझे देना. And she just had to go around keeping seeds in like 4-5 different bartans and all of that. That's how it began, but that is the immediate journey. Obviously, there is
Yeah. So that's what I was coming back to that question. So I have known you for almost like 6-7 years now.
Yeah.
So this was not Crisenta when I met you, right?
No.
So just tell me what was your exact inspiration, like how it exactly started, that seed you talk about, right?
Yes.
I want to understand what was that seed which initiated that entire journey.
Absolutely. It's my sister all along. My sister, she is 9 years younger to me and she's an absolute rock star. She got onto the sustainability boat far before, sustainability became a thing. Like बहुत पहले से जब से वो छोटी बच्ची है, she would never litter. And for us as Indians, littering was very common back then. Yeah? I mean, 20 साल पहले, still is. Now it annoys me. But back then I was part of the community or the mass that was just, very happy to litter. Right? So वो कभी नहीं litter करती थी. So before sustainability became a trend, became a vogue, became a way of life, she used to talk about it. So now the word sustainability, but she used to always talk about it, and she used to, say कि नहीं, we have to save the planet, we have to conserve the planet, go green. So these were things that she started saying when she was very little. And she was 9 years my junior, and I used to always think that पागल है मेरी बच्ची, मेरी
what is her name?
Her name is Crislin Rosario. Very big shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to.
So yes.
Thanks to her, because of her, I guess you are here.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for her, it wouldn't have happened. Yes, my mom also, when we were growing up, she used to grow a lot of plants. But for her, plants was not about. She used to not grow so much of fruits and vegetables. So she used to do more of, the other plants, the ornamental plants and all that. So she was definitely there, but it was my sister, like even when she moved to Bangalore about 7-8 years ago, She used to keep saying, अरे मैं बैंगलोर जाके ना मैं खुद अपना composting करने वाली हूँ. I'm going to grow my plants and all that. She got really busy with her job. She couldn't do it. But she has been talking about it so much. One day I just woke up feeling like crystalline and I said, okay, here we go.
But honestly, if I tell you, मेरे साथ भी बहुत ऐसे ही कुछ हुआ है. Like I actually get fascinated जब भी नर्सरी जाओ या किसी के घर पे जाओ. The one like I went to Pune to my uncle's house. They have like huge terrace. तो उन लोगों के पास plantation है. Then I come back. अच्छा नहीं यहाँ पे. I have been to Kashmir. I got all the bulbs and everything. But it's actually an effort. बहुत बहुत मेहनत लगता है. Because it's not just कि हमको उसको मतलब स्टार्ट करना है, बट टू मेंटेन दैट इट इज़ अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट थिंग. लाइक मैनेजिंग योर वर्कलोड, मैनेजिंग योर डेली रूटीन, योर लाइफ, जो भी अब. एंड आई थिंक मूड इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट यू हैव टू डेडिकेट सम टाइम जहाँ पे तुमको एक्चुअल में लगे कि हाँ मुझे इसके लिए थोड़ा टाइम देना है. सो आई थिंक वो दिल से जिसको होता है दैट इज द वन पर्सन. आई थिंक बोलते हैं ना वो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, दैट जर्नी टू दिस सस्टेनेबिलिटी लिविंग, आई फील.
Yes. It's very true, you know. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of effort. I mean, and especially sometimes it's a failure when you start because your plants keep dying on you, and then you don't know what you've done wrong, right? So it is that, but yes, it's also a lot of work because you know, like I was just thinking about this. I remember when I was starting on my journey, I walked up to this guy with a hand cart. वो hand cart में वो छोटे plants लेकर जाते हैं ना, जो nursery on the hand cart kind of guy. And I went to him and I told him कि भैया मुझे 20 किलो मिट्टी चाहिए. And he just looked at me and he was like, हाँ okay. He's like, आपका बंगला किधर है? And I was like, बंगला सब छोड़ो, ये मेरा एड्रेस, आ जाओ. When he came home, he couldn't believe that I was going to do something with 20 kilos of mitti in that house. He just judged me royally and went away. So, yeah, it is. And then even, you know, even growing the plants, like some of them are creepers, but you're not expecting them. So they're just growing all over the place and you have to control it a little. Some of them keep dying. Like the easiest, to give you an example, you know, one of the easiest vegetables to grow, or fruits rather, to grow is the tomato. Right. But it's also the most difficult to maintain. Like they keep dying on you. So for me, I have had to grow tomatoes so many times, and it keeps growing. It gives me a good abundance of fruits, and then it just dies on me. And then I'm like, okay, now I have to restart the entire process.
But at an early stage?
No, it gives me a lot of fruits. Okay. So it gives me at least 2-3 batches of tomatoes, and then it withers off. Okay. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But for me, obviously, the journey is quite new. So I'm still figuring out कि कौन से प्लांट्स को कैसे वाटर करना है, कौन से प्लांट्स को कहाँ पे रखना है. आई एम ट्राइंग टू फिगर दैट आउट बाय ट्रायल एंड एरर.
I think these days like there are apps also like which shows ki it dying yellow, red, brown. So I tried that also once. Like I think Nursery Live is also doing that. Yeah.
So, Crisenta, you mentioned that after like a batch of 3 or 4, the plants die on you. And I think sometimes it can take like a toll because you're taking so much care, and I'm sure they are very close to you. They are like your babies. So how do you deal with like this kind of a situation? Kaise?
Okay. So I'll maybe tell you by example. So I have a pumpkin story. I'll tell you that. So like I said, I just went on a rage. Okay, I would just walk into the kitchen, take some seed and put it. When I planted the pumpkin, I had no clue how big it was going to grow, what the plant was going to be like. I had no clue. Okay, I'm just going and garofying. It's just growing, and that's when I'm figuring things out, right? तो वो 20 kgs का मिट्टी लेकर आए थे, and जब लेकर आए थे, we had a lot of small shrubs and plants, बहुत सारे थे, और उसको हम लोगों ने repot किया because we needed to put it in bigger grow bags and things like that. तो जब repot किया, I had 3 healthy pumpkin plants. तीनों मर गए. I mean, all of them just withered and died.
Instantly.
Yeah, I mean, over the day, over 24 hours, I could see that it went from a healthy standing plant to a plant that just withered and died off. It had become really bad, and my husband and I, we felt very bad about it. कि you know, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था. कितने प्यार से उगाया था. They were still really small, but we still felt really bad. Okay. We could have just put another seed, but we said, ठीक है. And we had also started on this journey of positive affirmations and all. लाइक हम लोग बहुत सारी पॉजिटिव चीज़ें बोलते थे. देयर आर दीज Hawaiian, affirmation chants and all that. So we had started on that. So हमको ये बस एक बार किसी ने बोला था, लाइक हमारे मेंटर ने एक बार बोला था कि if you're just to teach us that this technique is quite powerful, this affirmations are powerful. He had once told us this, if you have a plant that's dying and if you make it listen to this, वो affirmations से जिंदा हो जाते हैं. Obviously I didn't yet believe that could happen, but we said कि why not try it. So my husband took the initiative and he would just play the affirmations 24 hours around the plants. तो हमारे गार्डन में ब्लूटूथ स्पीकर रख के वो पूरा दिन चलता रहता था.
So it was pre-recorded.
Yeah, pre-recorded. So YouTube पे ये chants वगैरह है.
अच्छा.
We used to do that and we used to also chant it. So whenever we are in the garden, we used to do it. But 24 hours we kept these affirmations on for the plants. And every time our maids and all used to come home, they would just laugh at us. They would be like, पौधों को गाना सुना रहे, because they didn't understand this, right?
Yeah.
And we would just say कि ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Within a few days, like it barely took a few days, their entire जो wither होके एकदम मर गया था, मुरझा गया था, वो it just got it became strong and it just started growing so beautifully, and then it just grew so fast. So we literally, those lives came back to life because of those affirmations,
I mean, it really works.
It works absolutely. I mean, I use that for my doggy baby also. अभी ठीक है, अगर उसको कुछ हो जाता है, वो बता नहीं पाता ना. So I use affirmations for him and I just do this and then he gets better. So I know it works.
Nice.
I don't know the science behind it, but
And
it works.
with that, I want to understand, like, I'm sure, like, it's a very tough job, or I think sabka support, like, how your family is supportive towards it.
Very mixed actually. So when I wanted to start on this, my sister, because of the sustainable hero that she's been in my life, she was very happy. My husband was very upset. He was like, घर में लोगों को घूमने के लिए जगह नहीं है, तुमको अभी पौधे भी लगाने. But he's also very supportive. So he said, okay, we will give it a shot just because you're insisting. पर इसका कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. Please be sure of that. I said ठीक है. And then we started. So even now I don't get enough support. So even now 1 year down the line, 1.5 years down the line, when we've already had so much harvest and things like that also, अभी भी support ज़्यादा नहीं मिलता. Right, there are people.
So
who come and
any
say,
particular incident that triggers, like anything that you feel कि अच्छा नहीं यार, ये तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा हो गया, मतलब इतना कुछ. Is there any incident or any
Yes.
like bigger challenge?
किसी ने आपको पुश कर दिया हो कि
Yes. So if you're talking about any negative experiences, there is one particular.
I am actually not using that term. I just wanted to understand any
ठीक है.
challenges, because
हाँ.
वो होता है हमारे families में.
I'll give you one example, okay? This just takes me back to the time when I was starting my entire journey. Or the day, one of the days when I was going cuckoo and planting different seeds in different pots and all that. उस दिन मेरे एक relative मेरे घर आए थे. So my mom was helping me. She had come to my home as well. She was actually helping me with gardening, with soiling and all of that. जो मुझे पहले नहीं आता था. So she was helping me out a little bit. और तब एक relative भी आए. And full disclosure, we've been married for about 7-8 years, me and my husband, 7 years now. But we decided, kids थोड़ा आराम से and all of that. But society तो society है. जब देखो बोलता है बच्चा कहाँ. So right, I mean, I love kids. Trust me, I do love them. But I don't like being hounded. Right? I want to take my personal time and space for it. But so this relative who happened to come home, he saw me potting these seeds and he asked me, human seeds कब sow कर रहे हो? ये सब तो ठीक है, human. And I was just taken aback. I was like, एक तो ये सवाल काफी.
I mean, that is too direct or personal.
Yeah,
Like,
it is too personal, and to say something like that, and so yes, sometimes the support is really not there, and
I
it is
mean,
difficult.
it can hurt your, like, what journey you are. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people don't understand what you have been through in life
Right.
and what journey, why your journey is the way it is.
Right.
But judgment के लिए
I
हर
think
कोई
COVID has transformed like a lot of our beliefs, and thoughts, like जैसे हम लोग life को देखते थे, I think this is I think after COVID.
It is post-COVID. Yes, absolutely. So I never thought about that. Thank you for that thought, actually. But yes, I think that has really changed the way we perceive life and the way we go about our life. So yeah.
So that brings me to my next question, Crisenta. मुझे जानना है कि इतना एक्सेस है इंफॉर्मेशन के लिए आज हमारे पास, हाउ कैन पावरफुल पीपल इम्पैक्ट सस्टेनेबल लिविंग?
Oh, they actually can quite a bit. अभी एक एग्जाम्पल लो मेरा, ठीक है, छोटे से घर में I have like actually 7 different types of chilies growing right now, because obviously rainy season है तो fruiting affect करता है. I have 7 different types of chilies, 3 types of tomato, and so many different things that I'm doing in the small tiny house of mine. What can people with money and bigger homes and bigger spaces do? A lot. They can actually do a lot. Like, just to give you an example, अभी का जो pain point है टमाटर के prices यार.
What is it, like 170 or something?
175, वो 250 तक आकर एटलीस्ट थोड़ा सा ड्रॉप हो रहा है, बट इट्स ridiculous that you're going to pay that much for 1 kilo tomato. So on such a day, I'm very happy to go into my garden and just snip off a little tomato and eat and all that. But imagine if more people did get sustainable, especially Bombay. Bombay is a very rich city. बहुत पैसा है, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो अमीर है. So यहाँ पे अगर people actually took the help needed, did actually take one step at least towards sustainable living, towards growing their own fruits and vegetables, their food, I think it would make a lot of difference. Now again, we might, India being an agricultural country, maybe we are talking about, maybe farmers are affected. नहीं, मेरा 2 टमाटर grow करने से या 4 मिर्ची grow करने से the market is not getting affected, the farmer is not getting affected.
No, and it is not about only tomatoes. I feel it is about if you are actually doing these small stuffs, it is not making huge difference in your lifestyle, but it is supporting somewhere to your ecosystem. I feel
exactly, that's what it is about. Now, just to give you an example, there is curry leaf that I grow in my house, right? But it's still a small plant in a small home. I still need to go to the market and buy it. But what it helps is, it helps me like have that this thing, I'm growing these things. At least 5 out of 10 times I can like grow my own stuff and use my own stuff. So yes, sustainability is a very, very big thing. And I mean, I really wish more people came out and did this. And even see, sustainability के बारे में हर कोई बात कर रहा है. But when they are talking about it, they are talking about, what people are doing as communities, or what the other person is doing. They're not talking about what I as an individual can do.
Right. And with powerful people, I feel we can run some campaigns also. Like जैसे भी monsoon है, pre-monsoon, we can have like campaigns जहाँ पे हम लोग बहुत सारा ये करते हैं. I mean, I'll tell you my example. In my previous organization I was working where, like, we did one CSR activity. So what we did was, somewhere near Bhivandi Road, so there was one village जहाँ पे what we did is we like collected some funds from like whatever people we were working together. We went there, we collected around like 70 saplings of mangoes, jackfruit and other like all other fruit जो जिसको बहुत टाइम लगेगा करने के लिए, बट एंड ऑफ द डे व्हाट वाज द मोटिव कि उनको एक लॉन्ग टर्म इनकम भी आ जाए, प्लस इट विल आल्सो सपोर्ट द एनवायरनमेंट. तो एंड आई वाज नॉट हैप्पी दैट टाइम. मैं सबसे ज्यादा खुश कहाँ पे हुआ पता है? 2 महीने के बाद जहाँ पे वो द पर्सन हु वाज कोऑर्डिनेटिंग, उस बंदे ने ना वहाँ के फोटोज भेजे, तो इतने हो गए थे. देन आफ्टर 6 months ही सेंट अस फोटोज. तो ही मेंशन्ड लाइक आउट ऑफ 70 अराउंड हार्डली 48 और समथिंग आर लिविंग राइट नाउ. तो बट वो 6 महीने के बाद जो एक ग्रोथ स्टेज दिख रहा था, बिकॉज इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट एट आवर होम, बट एज लाइक वी contribute to our society in terms of money and more than that efforts or that I think intuition or motive to do this, that intent is really like helpful. अगर हम लोग नहीं कर सकते, but we can push people to do such things, so at least it will balance out the needs of environment also plus their own needs, so we can help farmers in that way.
Absolutely. So one thing obviously is to fund the farmers. See, our farmers in India are really going through a crisis period. Right. They have been for over a decade and they're not really getting the attention or the funding they need. Okay, so they need the help. We keep talking about us being an agricultural country when we are ignoring the people who are at the core of agriculture.
Yeah.
So yes, that's a sad thing. Yes, like you said, I mean, obviously I'm a believer that you should do it in your own home, but yes, very fair point. You can't do it, you at least help somebody else do it. एटलीस्ट वो एक इनिशिएटिव लो कि किसी और को नज करो उस डायरेक्शन में, किसी और को हेल्प करो. कोई ऑलरेडी कर रहा है उसको और हेल्प करो. गिव देम द फंडिंग दे नीड और गिव देम व्हाटएवर हेल्प दे नीड.
राइट. सो and here comes the next question with when we are talking on maintenance. Of course, like it is difficult to maintain them. So I mean personally I have experienced कि जब भी हम लोग करते हैं ये process start, so due to some work commitment, people who wants to travel outside, people who wants to go out for a vacation or something, तो ये सब चीजों में how difficult or how easy, or is there any process that you have set up to take care of these plants?
Yes, actually, that is something that my mom has inspired me, and she's the one who actually taught. She's not much of a talker. She does things, and we just pick up. You know, we watch her and we pick up. So she has actually done this, wherein वो जब 2 महीने के लिए भी कहीं जाती है, उसके plants कभी नहीं मरते.
Okay.
So what she does is she takes these plastic bottles that you have your packaged water in, drinking water. उसमें थोड़े होल्स करके उसमें पानी भर के डाल देती है. सो इट्स लाइक अ सेल्फ वाटरिंग सिस्टम दैट शी क्रिएट्स फॉर हर प्लांट्स, एंड दैट इज समथिंग इवन आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग. आई रियलाइज दैट वाओ, आई मीन बिकॉज ऑनेस्टली देखो, मदर नेचर इज वेरी आत्मनिर्भर दैट वे. So you don't really have to take too much effort for plants to grow.
But like, where are these bottles placed?
They are placed into the soil.
Okay, inside the
they are placed inside the soil with just 2 or 3 small holes. तो वो थोड़ा थोड़ा ड्रिप होके जितना पानी उसको चाहिए उतना पानी वो ले लेगा. And 2 months, so without anyone being in the house.
So I think you can utilize the plastic bottles very well.
Absolutely.
So that
yeah. So you don't throw them in the trash because they cannot be nothing can happen out of it. So अगर तुम्हारे घर में plastic bottles हैं, use it that way. उसमें होल्स करके make self-watering systems and all that for your plants.
So Crisenta, I've noticed like a lot of the older people, like even you started very late the sustainable practice. How can we encourage more retirees in general to embrace this kind of a lifestyle?
So actually I haven't given this too much thought, but I think that's an excellent question. Because the way the society is going forward, जैसे अभी आजकल देखो तो किसी के पास टाइम नहीं है, right? So you have parents who've retired and you have their children are constantly working. एक तो nuclear families है तो अभी parents के साथ रहते भी नहीं है.
Right.
So I think parents have a lot of time, and समय ना उनका ये आ जाता है कि they just start feeling कि no one cares about me, and they start getting a little depressed. I think gardening or growing your own fruits and vegetables can be therapeutic on multiple levels. One is obviously they use their time in a more for something for something that's making them sustainable. It's taking their time, it's making them sustainable, as well as that it is therapeutic because when you work with mud and things like that, it's like think about any hobby you have. For example, pottery. When you're creating those things out of mud and all that, तुमको पता नहीं चलता कि time कहाँ जा रहा है. And because of that, it keeps you away from depression. Rather, it can reverse depression, I think. And even things like this, even a plant. Like I know every time I go into my garden on the days that I've decided कि आज मैं थोड़ा gardening कर रही हूँ, मेरे 6 घंटे कहाँ गए कुछ पता नहीं चलता.
Right.
So I think that is something they can really do.
Well, you'd be surprised that so there's this guy called Brock Lesnar. I think a lot of people know who Brock Lesnar is. He's a very famous wrestler.
Yeah.
And these wrestlers have a very hectic schedule. Like they are on the road throughout the year. But whenever he gets free time, recently I have been seeing him gardening and farming. So for him, that's like his way of rejuvenating, recharging.
Yeah.
And you can actually see him enjoy that process.
Yeah.
So I can kind of relate.
And just now your work profile is really it demands creativity, and like like every time you have to come up with ideas. Just now you said like you're like sometimes you go in a flow that you don't
Yeah.
realize the time and everything. So how do you balance your work life and this?
Fab question again. So, actually, this helps me in my work.
Okay.
So, I'm a writer. I need to be able to, come up with creative copy all the time or creative concepts all the time. I have people who, come and tell me एक idea दो, फिर उसको वहाँ से develop करना है.
Okay.
So, one thing I noticed was every time I would feel a writer's block, I would be struggling and it would just depress me कि यार idea ही नहीं सूझ रहा है, कुछ नया नहीं है. And I would just, to distract myself, I would get into gardening. But when I came back from there, I came back with lots of ideas. So this used to actually fuel my creativity in lots of ways. So at least for people from the creative field, I don't think this is time wasting. It takes time, yes, but imagine अगर हम लोग, now we are all creative people here, right? Now सोचो एक brainstorming session है. अपना एक normal brainstorming session कितना लंबा चलता है? Maybe you guys can tell me that.
1 hour, 2 hour. I mean, unless we find a concrete, क्या बोलते हैं,
It
idea.
can go on for
It can go on, like I know that I've been part of brainstorming sessions that have gone on for days because we've not come up with the result that we needed. This has helped me actually navigate that. So I just go into a creative zone because when you're actually gardening, you get into a creative space. You're just there, you're just focused on it and you're doing things and all that. And when that happens, of course, again, I don't understand the science behind it, but you come back with ideas.
Right.
That has happened with me.
your stories. These things are really forcing me to give some time to gardening. I don't know when that's gonna happen.
Take your time. I mean, can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So take your time with it, Aman, because see, when I got into it in my mid-30s, yes, misleading. I may look much older. I am not very old.
She's very young.
But yes, I don't like coloring my hair for the sake of dyeing it. I love color, so I have some photos that I can show later. I've gone all blue and crazy with
Yeah,
my
I know.
hair.
I think pre-COVID it was like purple or like
Yeah,
violet
I
color.
had a purple. I had a celestial color on my head, so I had a combination of 4-5 different colors. So I only color to induce that, but not for my grays. But that said, I would have loved to do this in my teenagers or in my 20s because I know I've wasted a lot of time not doing this, and that I would love to get back.
And when you talk about teenagers, I feel it should start from early ages. Like जब हम बच्चे रहते हैं ना, like I still remember we used to go to Sanjay Gandhi National Park like before monsoon, और हमेशा जाके एक तो पौधा लगा के हम लोग आ जाते थे. We used to call it वृक्षारोपण, right? तो I think जैसे जैसे हम लोग बड़े हो जाते हैं ना, like all these things just like goes away from us, like or maybe we don't give much importance or time. सिर्फ वो साल में एक बार जब आता है कि हाँ कि अर्थ डे है या फिर lot of campaigns are going on, right? So I think with the digital media, I think with all of us being together, I think we can also put some thoughts to it and take some initiatives,
Absolutely,
making people aware, and not for the sake of money, but I think it's for the sake of our planet, I feel. Yeah. So what do you think, Crisenta?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if I may just interject here. So I have a little niece, she's 10-year-old. She's a 10-year-old girl, Edlin Fernando from Surat. Hi. So she comes to Bombay, and when she comes to Bombay, she's with me. And during one of those trips here, I was actually sowing my cherry tomatoes. I was, putting those seeds in. एंड मैंने उसको बोला कि कम बी पार्ट ऑफ दिस. सो शी इज लाइक हाँ मैं अपने स्कूल में करती हूँ. आई सेड स्कूल में करना अलग है, घर में करना अलग है, आ जाओ. देन शी आस्क्ड मी फॉर ग्लव्स. शी इज लाइक मुझे ग्लव्स दो, ये दो, वो. आई सेड नहीं, मिट्टी में हाथ डालो. शी इज लाइक नहीं, स्कूल में ग्लव्स देते हैं एंड आई सेड नहीं, आ जाओ, मजा आएगा. देन आई एक्चुअली गेव अ स्मॉल पोर्शंस इन माई बिग बैग एंड आई टोल्ड हर यहाँ पे ये डालना है, वहाँ पे ये डालना है, एंड आई गॉट हर टू डू इट. She was not the happiest when she started doing it because she was like, yeah, बहुत गंदा है and all that. But a few days later, when I sent her a photograph of the sprout, all the leaves that started sprouting and all that, she was ecstatic. She started screaming, and I was like, just imagine if this child had this in her own house and she was doing it. So her mother, my cousin, she's also taking effort. She's like put a balcony full of greens and all of that, and now the daughter is getting more involved in it.
And I think they can
So-
also encourage their friends. मतलब at this age, अगर
Yes.
उनको कुछ अलग लगता है, एक नया experience होता है, I think these are the generation, these are the,
Yes.
I mean these are proper target audience, I would say. कि है ना, इनको अगर push करें ना तो because वो लोग अपने mom dad को भी push करेंगे, neighbors को भी करेंगे.
Exactly,
And you know, out of innocence, we tend to listen to child.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And now we are talking about babies, so let's have a look at आपने यहाँ पे I could see, so I just want you to show it to our audience कि क्या
Waiting for this part
Yeah.
since a long
Yes,
time.
absolutely. So if we were to take
Should
a
I
look,
help you?
No, that's okay. I'll just So if we were to take a look, this is obviously the kadi patta. I will invite you to smell the stem.
This is कभी का batch है ये?
ये अभी का मैंने मतलब I started growing them 1 year ago, but I've used up and this is regrowing. Like it just continues growing. So if you just take a leaf and break it, the smell is just so
Yeah,
strong.
I think you can
and
eat
good.
also, right?
You can eat also, obviously. It is kadi patta. So, but you can tell the difference when it's organically grown
No, of course.
and when you buy it, So it's so different. And this is actually ajwain.
Yeah.
So ajwain, the beauty of it is it's a creeper.
And this is also edible.
It is edible. So when we make काढ़ा में हम लोग अजवाइन डालते हैं वो जब खांसी सर्दी होती है
Yeah.
हम लोग कभी अजवाइन के सीड्स नहीं डालते
अच्छा.
हम लोग ये लीफ डालते हैं and the taste is just so beautiful. The taste of a seed and a leaf is very different.
I make pakoras of ajwain.
Yes, actually, thanks to your idea, I'm going to try that today. Pakoras of ajwain. But yes,
There are very nice ajwain paratha also.
I didn't know all of that. So now I'm going to get introduced to that. And it's a creeper. So the beauty of this is like the other day, I was मैं जब अपना pruning करती हूँ plants के, I don't throw away that the leaves. So either half of it goes, for my composting or something. And the other half, I just put it in the plants itself, in my different plants. I'm like खुद से मर के वो manure बन जाएगा and वो सब. And now I have ajwain growing in 10 different pots because it's a
These
creeper.
are really fresh. Like
Yeah.
you can just smell it and
Yeah.
as in like instant.
Like if you break a leaf and just rub it in your hand, you'll smell of
Yeah,
ajwain the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
day. So that. This is one of my heroes. These are red bhindis.
Yeah.
So we actually got a really large harvest during the summers, and we have eaten on multiple occasions. They are more fibrous than the green bhindi.
Okay.
So कभी-कभी लोगों को अच्छा नहीं लगता because food has become very fashion these days. जो fashionable है खाने में मजा आ रहा है वो खाना है. But this is super fibrous and much more this thing. So ये कभी
Nutritious.
try, nutritious. So and it's very easy to grow. I mean, accidentally I put it and it grew. So. That these are an absolute miracle and accident. So these are tomatoes originally from Mexico. They belong to the tomato family. और ये अचानक एक दिन grow होने लगा. And my husband and I, we have this one habit, which I think is a good habit now that I look at it. We don't cut off our weeds. We always let them grow. कुछ भी नया उग रहा है, we let them grow. We like देखते हैं कुछ आता है तो कोई fruity हो तो कोई vegetable हो तो. So this was very accidental, and when they started growing, so when this starts, there is nothing in it. There is just a outer case. So I remember I used to press this and I'm like, क्या फालतू का चीज़ है? This space can be used for some other thing. But then my husband didn't let me chop it down, and then we started getting these really beautiful fruits inside.
Oh.
So you can use these in salads and things like that. So they're very they are khatta meetha, but more on the meetha side.
Like
So-
a smaller version of cherry tomato.
Yes, a smaller version
Let me
of that.
try.
Yes, absolutely. So they are little khatta meetha, but little meetha side pe hai. And if you have it with the right dressings and all, it's just too beautiful. So
It
that
is.
is this.
The flavors are just, you don't need anything.
You don't need anything. It's just too good. That this actually is also
Yeah.
a gift to my dear friend Tisha.
Yeah, I want to make some recipes out of it.
Yes, this is haldi ke leaves. Obviously, I've just brought the leaf, not the fruit, because my fruit is also my root, so it's still growing, But yes, haldi leaves, and actually these leaves, these are for black haldi.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of black haldi. So the first time I came across it, I was mind blown. I was like, black haldi? मैंने उसको उगाड़ा, बहुत अच्छा, मेरे को बहुत बड़ा harvest मिला. I started giving it out to my friends and family. It's 10 times more potent than अपना yellow haldi. So, and we know how amazing the yellow haldi is. So just imagine, I mean.
Yeah. Good
when
see some difference in this, right? There is
Yes,
some
yes.
lining, if you can see.
Yes.
Yeah. So
You
there
don't
is-
find this in the yellow haldi curry.
Yeah.
So,
And
Yes.
what about these? Like, this is
Yes.
something new, I guess.
absolutely. So again, shout out to my sister, Chrislyn here.
The colors.
Yes. So she actually started making her own soaps because she has acne and whatever product she uses, she doesn't like. And because she's such a sustainability person, she started making her own soaps and all that.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this because she's my sister. They are just the best soaps you will ever find.
I've already had a
Yeah.
like I know the scent is so good.
And you know what this is? This is a combination of, like, she was making lots of soaps. All the soaps ka jo remaining kachra, jo scrap hai, she said, I will not waste it, I'll make a soap out of it.
It's a fabulous scent.
Yeah.
So
This
good.
is a combination of so many soaps and she made that for me. This is a coffee, coconut and coffee wala soap hai ye. This is
Wow, so earthy.
very, very. This is called the Cleopatra.
Oh.
The name is
What
yes,
it is?
the Cleopatra. We
Okay.
call this the Cleopatra. It's a vanilla-based soap, vanilla and multani mitti.
I'm
So-
taking them all. Please tell your sister I'm going to buy all this from her.
How do you
Absolutely.
make this?
So she's a magician when it comes to all this soaps and all.
Okay.
And so she's my muse in the things that I make, and I'm a muse when she has to make things. So, but it's, I mean, how she makes, it's not very complicated to make soaps, but the soaps that she makes is very different from other handmade soaps also. So I
So
really don't know what
one of the
it is.
times we'll call her to understand the entire process.
Absolutely. And this is actually part of her elemental range. So if you see, there are two colors. I don't know if the camera can capture this.
Yeah.
There are two colors here. So there is the darker color and the lighter color. So when she did the elemental range, this was my idea to tell. I told her to make one for me which would represent the space.
Oh.
So this is actually the space, the universe that you see, and that's what the soap was. And in that elemental range, she has the
I think
forest.
some sparkles are also there.
Yes,
inside.
yes.
I don't know if you can
That
see.
is to show the stars in the sky.
Yeah.
Then she has an Amazon, which is called the Amazon, which is the earth. It's got the brown and the green. Then she has the water, which is a beautiful sand color, and the blue.
Yeah, and this is what I feel like when your creativity, like people
Yeah.
like you, like
Yeah.
when they actually give some inputs to something, maybe it is possible. It is just a push, a little
Yeah.
push. I feel
Absolutely.
is required.
I mean, she's already kick-ass, but yes, I mean, she's just too good at this.
yeah.
And just to say, I hope that can come. So her brand, she's not officially launched it, but when she does do it, and I hope she does it fast, it's called Love Planet.
Wow.
It's love, comma planet. So it's love from the planet to you. So that
Surely
is
we'll
the
call
idea.
her.
तो क्रिसेंटा ये क्या है?
Yes.
What can you
हाँ.
explain about these things?
Perfect.
This is, I think, ghee.
That is ghee.
Okay.
So we moved from carton milk to tabela milk.
Okay.
We started collecting our own malai. We made makhan, और makhan से ghee बनाया. So now we have makhan also, we have ghee also.
Nice.
We've stopped buying all this from the market now. This is actually coconut oil, cold pressed coconut oil. So इसको बिना गरम किए, बिना कुछ किए, हम लोगों ने घर पे बनाया. And just to give you an understanding or context, when you buy coconut oil, वो भी cold pressed. 1 liter is, somewhere in the range of 600, 800 bucks when you buy
Yeah.
1 liter. This is, I went to DMart. I picked up 25 rupees wale, 7 coconuts. And then we got around half a liter or a little more than that of cold press oil. And yes, it took us 2 days. It didn't even take us 2 days. 2 days is because we have to keep the oil for it to ferment and things like that. Okay, it didn't take any time to make this. And हमारा हो गया वो like
What about ghee?
under 200 bucks.
What about ghee? Like, how do you make this?
How
Because
do you
even
make
ghee
this?
is equally expensive.
Ghee is also very expensive, 600, 650, 1 kilo. So it is very expensive. And that is commercial. If you go for organic ones, तो
They are
रहने
more,
दो.
हाँ.
They are 1000 plus. So this is, so वो जो मलाई है, मलाई को पहले बटर बनाते हैं, उसको चर्न करते हैं. चर्न करके बटर बनता है. And so when you make malai se ghee, it takes a good few hours for the ghee to release itself. The whole house smells and all of that. So what we figured out was if you make it into butter and then melt the butter and make ghee out of it, it's just a matter of minutes.
Oh.
And even the butter, the traditional churning takes a lot of time. Your hand hurts, all of that. We figured a knack for that also. Our butter was ready in 30 seconds. Our ghee was ready in the next 10 minutes. So,
Oh.
15
I'll
minute
have
mein,
this.
yes. 15 minute. And if you smell it, and even when you eat it, now today we'll see if we can eat it on some bread or something. The वो जो smell आता है market वाले घी से और all
So
that,
it
वो सब
doesn't have,
नहीं है.
it is just a texture.
Yeah, but it's just so beautiful. It's, you know, there's something beautiful on the bread, but you don't get all those smells and things that you get in commercial ones. Like even this, you can't tell it's coconut oil, can you?
There's not even like the extra.
This is actually like a burfi, the
Yeah.
coconut burfi. It smells.
It's coconut oil. It's pure coconut oil, but it's beautiful. Like we can drink it just like that because it's very medicinal. We can just drink it in the morning or something, and it's just so beautiful and so subtle.
I'm really glad and really मतलब बहुत बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. Like I think this is actually giving us really good vibes, and I think it will encourage us also to get on a track of this sustainable living and
Encourage everyone.
yeah, I mean Crisenta already have done that. I feel like I think a small step from all of us can actually help our environment.
It can.
So thanks for coming over and showing us all these things. Aman, so you want to tell her about the next segment?
Alright, we'll move to our swanky POV section.
Okay.
तो ये सेक्शन में 2 गेस्ट और अब एंटर करेंगे और सस्टेनेबिलिटी के बारे में और सवाल पूछेंगे आपसे.
Perfect.
तो जारी रखते हैं डिस्कशन थोड़ा.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll just go and send him.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Alex DeCosta.
Okay. Hi, Alex. Yes.
So I think we are understanding sustainability here.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm a food auditor for the last 15 years.
Oh wow.
At 5-star hotels.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I would like to ask you some questions
Absolutely. Yes.
to understand this.
Ji. Yes.
नमस्कार, मैं परीक्षित मार्कंडेय, मैं वैदिक समय से आया हूँ.
वैदिक समय यानी आप कितने साल पुराने?
1500 BC to 500 BC.
Oh, so you speak English as well?
Yes, I am a time traveler, so I can adapt any language, any living style, wherever I go, whichever era I am in, so I can understand.
That is quite impressive. We have a nice discussion on our hands then.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's start off.
Yes. It's such a pleasure to meet you, Ji.
Same here.
So, Ms. Crisenta, right?
Yes.
Ms. Crisenta, I want to understand. More than 67.8 million tons of food is wasted in Indian 5-star hotels every year. How can we involve sustainable practices at such places?
Okay. The easiest thing to do and the most sustainable thing to do with food waste is to make your own compost. So everything from kitchen waste. So there are 2 types of waste, right? When it comes to food, there is the waste that goes in before the food is cooked. So the stems, the chilka, वो सब. तो वो compost bins में जा सकता है. Also cooked foods can go into compost bins. So instead of wasting, obviously the first thing is if the food is good, give it out to someone who's in need. That is the first primary goal, should be the primary goal. But if it's not edible or it cannot be given out, then it should go into composting where it just goes back into the lap of Mother Nature. So
Alright.
you then don't need to buy manure and things like that from outside, because if you're growing plants, or if you have if you are green in your home, you're growing your own stuff, you don't need additional manure, everything. You just get all of that from your compost. So
देखो एडिबल तो है,
हाँ
क्योंकि कभी कभी जो स्टाफ है वो वेस्ट होने के पहले खाता है,
हाँ हाँ
बट आई एम श्योर वी कैन डू अ लॉट मोर.
या
Parikshit ji, I would like to know your opinion.
First of all, फूड वेस्टेज. हमारे समय में फूड वेस्टेज नहीं हुआ करता था. ये कुछ चीज़ें हैं, जो बातें हैं, मैंने आपके लिए लाई है. Can you all read this?
संयमित उपयोग.
जी हाँ. हमारे समय में हम संयमित उपयोग करते थे. खाने को रिस्पेक्ट, आई थिंक रिस्पेक्ट फॉर फूड, which is missing and which is the biggest problem I feel. खाने से प्यार, खाने से लगाव होना चाहिए, जिसकी वजह से हम जीवित हैं. Alex ji, you are a food manager, right?
I'm a food auditor.
Food auditor. Do you know? Only 15 to 20% of the total purchase gets used in your hotels industry.
Yeah, only. And like you were saying, 68.7 million tons or something, no,
Yes.
of food that's
Per
not
annum.
used per annum, just in our country alone. You know that if you were to do some math, that alone has a value of around 92,000 crores.
Oh my God.
That is the amount of food we're wasting per year. Now, just imagine in a country like ours, where we have billions, 190 million people are undernourished or malnourished. Now, imagine if this food somehow, went to them or got to them in some way or form. Just imagine.
जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया, संयमित उपयोग. क्या आपको नहीं लगता अगर हर कोई अपने आप को जितना अन्न ग्रहण करना चाहिए उतना ही खा रहा है, तो जो ये एक्सेस फूड वेस्टेज का जो प्रॉब्लम है वो सॉल्व हो जाएगा.
Absolutely.
There has to be a proper inventory management systems in these hotels. With the inventory management, it is also required. Crisenta, you are a creative writer. Don't you think so? It is all your collaborate efforts. होटल इंडस्ट्रीज में जैसे प्रमोशंस के लिए टीम रहती है, आई थिंक आपको नहीं लगता जहाँ पे बुफे काउंटर्स होते हैं, खाने की जगह होती है, इफ़ वी पुट सम रिमाइंडर्स अबाउट फूड वेस्टेज, ईट बट ईट द वे इट इज़ रिक्वायर्ड टू योर बॉडी. तो ये ऐसी कोई चीज़ नहीं है जिसको खाने से आपके शरीर को कुछ अधिकता मिलती है, बल्कि ज़्यादा खाने से हमारे शरीर को वैसे भी बहुत तकलीफ़ें होंगी. और मोस्टली पीपल दे कम फॉर अ वेकेशन, राइट? आई थिंक इफ दे आर हेल्दी एट पर्टिकुलर टाइम दे कैन बी energized.
Well, I'm sure the idea of tags being put up and the guests being mindful of their food and eating habits is necessary. Well, there have been these small practices which are being embedded in 5-star hotels where there are thousands of people. Plastic, for example. There are plastic bags, the usage of plastic bags has been reduced. We are now using paper bags. It is difficult to totally omit plastic bottles, but we are still trying. So these practices are being embedded, but for food, I think we still have a long way to go.
almost 1.5 million of plastic bottles are being used in hotels every single day.
Wow.
Think of it. कितना garbage होता है, which is not at all in favor of the nature.
True.
That is true.
That is true. In fact, Guruji, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe one of the things that can be done is at least single-use plastic can be avoided. Like you guys have started taking your first steps, but maybe a little more. Single-use plastic bottles, packaged drinking water, all that can be avoided. Use glass bottles, and even in public places like stations and all, no, Guruji, instead of having instead of selling water in bottles, give them, like, I think a lot of stations have that. They have the, they are offering water at the stations, cold
Right.
water, warm water. So those kind of options wherein you can reduce the usage.
और क्रिसेंटा जी, आप तो जानते हैं कि कमर्शियल बिजनेस है होटल्स,
Yes.
लोग यूज टू हो गया है,
Yes. True.
नहीं खर्चा करता है इस सब पे, बट धीरे धीरे चेंज हो रहा है.
Yes, very true. So, agreed what you're saying. It's a commercial business, and at the end of the day, you have to keep your profits and all in mind. But maybe like what Guruji was saying, if we can find a way of actually raising awareness, and at the end of the day, you should make your profits. So we can see how we can, make profits using more sustainable means.
That
Right?
goes in my book, raise awareness.
Yes, so we can do
Train
that.
your employees, your team to encourage people to use such things. It will, of course, help reducing these things.
And somewhere I think even personally, again Guruji, correct me if I'm wrong, I think like individually, even at like you and your team, if you all can even start making small changes in your homes, that will then overflow into at work and other places.
Yes.
So these are small things that we can do. But yes.
Alright. क्रिसेंटा जी, मुझे और सवाल पूछना है आपसे.
हाँ जी, बोलिए.
मुझे पूछना है कि पानी का प्रॉब्लम तो आप जानते हैं.
हाँ जी.
अब 5 स्टार में कितना सारा पानी यूज होता है,
हम्म.
और इंडिया में ऐसे देश भी हैं जहाँ पे पानी आता ही नहीं.
Yeah. Yes.
How can we address this kind of an issue?
So actually what you can do is all the wastage that's being created, food wastage as well as water wastage, like very specifically speaking about water, it can be recycled and treated so that it can be reused. That is obviously one way we can do. So obviously there is the recycling of toilet water also. I'm not saying it has to be used, but it can be used for washing and things like that. There's also laundry wala jo water, like you guys have a huge laundry system where thousands of people are washing their clothes. So obviously that much water that's generated. There's something called grey water treatment, where this water, laundry water, can be recycled and purified and can be reused. So this all corporates have a CSR fund, has a CSR department, and has some funds that are meant for the betterment of the society. So instead of only taking up, like looking at what is the most woke thing to do, rather than that, look at what you can actually do based on the kind of wastage you guys are generating.
3% of total country's water is being used in hotels in India. हमारे समय में पानी की कभी समस्याएं नहीं होती थी. हम जिसको आज रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग कहा जाता है, वो हम हमारे समय में इम्प्लीमेंट करते थे. I don't know if you have looked at the historical water management systems. You can find out in the caves, which maybe like Pandavas also have made. That is an exemplary example you can incorporate in all your hotels.
Very interesting advice by Ms. Parikshit.
Yes.
That brings us to my last question. So we have discussed about food wastage, water wastage, and even the usage of plastic. But Crisenta and Mr. Parikshit ji, Guruji, I would want to know how can you maintain a balance between providing luxury and the same time practicing sustainability?
Especially with your customers, right? You have the elite and the cream customers, right, who come to your hotels. One thing, one thing I think you can do is rich people like to do things that are more woke, or they want to do things that are more trendy.
Okay.
If you can present this as something that is not just for the good of the planet, but by doing this, maybe it's a photo op for them, maybe it is a, they get to tell that they are sustainability ambassadors.
A unique experience.
Yes. So if things like this, yes, obviously through unique experiences, but if they can become sustainability ambassadors, I think it is for them also that becomes a, I mean, they would love to do that just for that. So yes, I think the elite crowd, the best thing to do is create a trend out of it and then give them that wokeness on a platter and tell them to do it.
आप शायद मुझे मूर्ख समझोगे. What is luxury?
Well, the presidential suite of a
Comfort.
top 5-star hotel.
Comfort.
You're talking about urban cities today, right? I think luxury is something which is rare. क्या आपको लगता है कि एक सरल जीवन अपनाना इस busy schedule से on a vacation could be a luxurious thing for your customers? Why don't you give them the experience from ancient times? Can have as simple as a mud house. You can have meditational activities in the morning. जैसे कि ग्रास जो आप ग्रास कटिंग के लिए इतने सारे इक्विपमेंट्स यूज़ करते हो, आपको नहीं लगता है सुबह जब आप आपके अगर गेस्ट्स को बोलो कि है ना 5 मिनट के लिए आप क्रिसेंटा, यू नो दैट अ फैक्ट, आप अपने घर पे जब ये बालकनीज में ये करते हो तो आपको नहीं लगता है इट इज़ मेडिटेटिव?
Yes, absolutely.
यू कैन इनकॉर्पोरेट दैट. क्या आपको नहीं लगता एक सात्विक अन्न प्रदान करने से जो उनको उनकी डेली लाइफ में विच इज़ वेरी रेयर टू ऑप्टेड, गिविंग देम अ डिटॉक्स लाइफस्टाइल, आप उनको एक ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस देते हो जो बहुत उनके लिए डिफिकल्ट है रोज के ज़माने में पाना.
लग्जरी का मीनिंग चेंज करना है.
दैट इज अ लग्जरी.
Yes.
जैसे यहाँ लिखा है, अगर आप पढ़ रहे हैं तो ये आपके लिए भी है. जैसे यहाँ लिखा है, एलेक्स जी, व्हाट इट इज?
सरलता को अपनाना.
राइट. आपको पता है सादगी में भी सौंदर्य का आनंद होता है. हमारे समय में हम ज़्यादातर वक्त पशु पक्षी पेड़ पौधे इनके साथ बिताते थे. When you are close to nature, don't you think you are at bliss?
Absolutely.
You find inner peace.
जी.
जो आई थिंक ये ज़माने में शांति पाना मतलब कितनी बड़े चैलेंजेस हैं,
जी.
राइट?
Yes.
तो क्या आपको नहीं लगता हम सरलता को अपना सकते हैं? एंड दैट ब्रिंग्स बैक टू माई थॉट. आई नो एलेक्स यू आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट इट, कि ये सब चीज़ों में आप गेस्ट को सेटिस्फाई कैसे कर पाओगे?
Yes, they are paying so much of money.
Crisenta, just tell me one thing. क्या आज हमारे यहाँ ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है? On your websites, don't you have 360 degree or real-time view?
Absolutely, yes, we do.
Right?
Yes.
If you give that experience way before those guests are coming, before they are booking your hotels, the expectations are rightly set. और आपको भी पता होगा, with all your prestige, people are admiring the change that you guys are bringing into the society. Let me talk about, I know you might be feeling that it's becoming very preachy, but as a time traveler, it is my duty to let you know some facts. Energy consumption, जिसके लिए I know you have a lot of lightings, right? You create better ambience. But why don't you create when it is required? Automation. Don't you think so? The corridors, the washrooms, when they are not in use, you can control that. You can save a lot of energy in that.
Very valid point.
Well, I've heard from my colleagues that the average cost can go up to 9 lakh rupees per day of just energy consumption.
Yes.
Wow.
Trust me, it can reduce up to 85% because 85% of the time it is just being utilized when guests are not present at that moment, right? और जो मैंने कहा, अगर हम अधिकता को त्याग कर देंगे, जैसे हम एक सामान्य जीवन जीते थे, balancing the technology and current needs, I think this is possible.
Well, that was a very mindful discussion and
Absolutely.
some interesting thoughts by
Yeah.
you and of course Guruji. मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि ये चीज़ें बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स के पास जाए और इम्प्लीमेंट हो जल्दी.
So even if everything cannot get implemented at one time, but at least you can start,
Yes.
Right, Guruji? Okay. Okay.
I think he's
traveled.
yes
He's time traveled. Okay. But it was lovely meeting him. I
Yes.
mean, he had a lot of nice things to say. So.
we got a like opinion of
Yeah.
like how things were in the early
Absolutely.
days,
During the early
and it's very important to implement those things.
Absolutely.
So Crisenta, thanks for coming over, and I know like you have not been keeping well today, and yeah, thanks for your time and sharing across like your experiences about like how you started. So I just wanted to understand, how did you like your Swanky POV section?
I love that segment actually. Honestly, it was just fun, and more so, I also got to learn so much. It was very insightful. I got to learn and I got to talk. So I loved it.
Yeah. So along with this, these two characters, हम लोगों ने और भी recordings किए हैं जहाँ these videos are pre-recorded from people who have we met them. उनको पूछा कि how sustainable living is possible, impossible, or what are the challenges they face. So I want all of us to watch them together so to understand like उन बाकी लोगों के क्या point of views है.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's watch.
Yes, like not for like everything, like bhindi ka hai, and then even my friend, they helped me for this. Like we have pumpkins also, and then muskmelon, we have that plant, and then bhindi is there, the karela is there, and yeah, guava tree I have, papaya tree I have.
I limit usage of plastic in my day-to-day life. I also try limiting those products which are hazardous for the environment. मैं मेरे old clothes भी revamp करके redesign करके I wear it again.